and also represent the women in this room. My name is Stephanie Tower. I'm with Enshing. We are a blockchain solutions company headquartered in Switzerland, and we have opened our office here in the Philippines. What we do is we offer blockchain research solutions, licensing, and also, of course, consultancy as well. So I'm very honored to be with you, gentlemen. One by one we'll get to know them, so I'll give you the mic. Introduce yourself, your company, and what is the role of your organization in this whole spectrum of cybersecurity in the Philippines and in the world.
So, magandang umaga lahat. My name is Patrick Signo. I'm the country managing director for Material Logic. We are a technology consulting agency working in a multi-cloud capacity, delivering all aspects of technology across the Asia-Pacific region. I'm also serving as a board member for the Data Center Association of the Philippines, a newly formed entity that is geared towards helping, I think, on the topic of today's interests, investments and requirement for managing data in the country. And the Data Center Association of the Philippines will continue to help the Philippines at scale.
Hi, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. My name is John Garrity. I am the Chief of Party for a USAID-funded project called Better Access and Connectivity, or Beacon for short. This is a 5-year project that's funded by the U.S. government to support governments in the Philippines when it comes to digital infrastructure development. So you think about telecommunications, and you think about all of the cross-cutting infrastructure issues that are associated with cybersecurity and privacy issues.
All right, thank you. My name is Gonz Gonzalez. Good morning. Magandang umaga sa inyo. I represent Cloud Security Alliance. We are a global industry and professional organization that focuses on cloud security. So we help craft standards for cloud security as well as education for cloud security.
Hey, good morning. I'm Sam Hakoba. I represent 3 communities of practice. So the first one is the National Association of Data Protection Officers of the Philippines. So we nurture data protection officers. The second one is PHCERT. So the Philippine Computer Emergency Response Team is Abanti's first CERT. We were formed in 2001. I'm also part of CSA. So Gonz and I were one of the co-founders of Cloud Security Alliance Philippines. And we're part of the job. Hopefully, the partners as well with our programs. We've taken certified over 1,000 DPOs and CISOs already. Our aim is to transform the Philippines into a global center of excellence for data protection. So that's why we're here. So we're really handsome our fellow Filipinos and of course our more Filipino already to help the Philippines to be cybersecurity.
Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. So let's start the conversation. We have been hearing about the shared responsibility of each one of us, government, private sectors, or even individuals, in addressing cyber security. And why do you think it's important to have a multi-sectoral approach in these in strengthening cyber defenses within the nation and also among other countries? Anyone can speak.
I believe a multi-industry approach is important because, as Amor mentioned earlier, cybersecurity underpins a lot of technology requirements, compliance, positioning, and fostering individuals and businesses in any industry. I believe it's an opportunity to share best practices, whether you're from the healthcare sector, the property sector, or the completely different sector overall. The most important thing is protection online, protection of assets on premise, protection of all of your digital footprints wherever you go. And this kind of insight perhaps allows a continual evolution of cybersecurity. Yes, there are very big cybersecurity names of partners that are working together in the alliance that you have today, but I think it also culminates into the 3 components that Yusek Jeff mentioned earlier of further adoption of the national ID and connectivity, but the second thing is the most important, which is literacy, right? Driving literacy across everybody. And everybody knows what the internet is. Fine, that's 30 years, 3 decades old, but cybersecurity is more prevalent today than we can even catch up. I mean, that's my take.
How about you, John, from the perspective of someone from the outside, the Philippines, why do you think it's important to have you and your organization to take part in this initiative of security and cyber defenses?
Yeah, maybe just to reflect back also on what you said, Jeff mentioned, right? I mean, I think the Philippines is not unique in that most countries in the world, even the United States, are still working to ensure that the entire country and everybody in the population can really participate in the digital economy. Every country has a digital divide, and even in the United States, there's a major effort right now under the current administration to close that digital divide. So as we as a society, whether it's in the United States or in the Philippines or any other country, work to close that digital divide, we want to make sure that the people who are coming in and participating in the digital economy are doing so in an environment that's as trusted and as safe as can be. And so that's why the cybersecurity effort really isn't just the realm of any one entity, whether it's in the public sector or even in the private sector. It's really everybody's shared responsibility because we all are participating in that digital economy.
That's correct. And Gons, you're leading this alliance on cybersecurity. How do you think we can raise awareness to the public about their responsibility as individuals? Because a lot of times people tend to depend on government institutions to protect them, but there is a shared responsibility. How do you raise awareness?
Yes, so for that, we need to tap into our normal channels, our daily channels that we use. Social media is here today, right? So we can utilize these channels to reach and engage our common users, right? And then make them more aware of the potential dangers, and then how to sort of like avoid these traps, right? Again, use these channels and then use them early and often. I would say is the right approach.
How about you, Sam? What do you think are the other approaches that we can use to educate the public about cybersecurity?
Gons and I have been talking about it. It should be like a GMRC course. It has to be started at home. So that's where it all starts. What you learn from your parents on how to take care of yourself, going out, for example, looking at cars before you cross the street, it has to be the same in cybersecurity. And from the home, next is the schools. That's why we're actually developing a course on cybersecurity from K to 12. Okay? And then so that when they graduate senior high school, they can actually already become cybersecurity professionals. And then after that, they go to college, and then that's where the specialization comes in. And then we have schools that offer master courses on cybersecurity already, and probably soon a PhD on cybersecurity. So it's scaling up, but it starts at home.
I love that. I love that. So parents have additional responsibility for you to talk about and educate your children about cybersecurity. I really like that approach. I think it's very seldom to talk about the role of parents in educating their children in this space. All right, so let's talk about digital infrastructure. How critical is establishing digital infrastructure, even like foundational infrastructure, in securing our data? What do you think are our key challenges here and how to overcome that? Anyone would like to answer this?
I think I think setting up infrastructure, whether it's in country or sitting offshore, it's not relevant as such. I understand we need to drive compliance, and I understand there are regulations that require for data to sit in the country. I think what's probably more important is that the infrastructure that you're using in either scenario, public, private, or hybrid, delivers the risk mitigation strategies around it. So we're talking from speeding delivery, penalties, management of data, security elements that protect your data. Because it's inevitable that as the Philippines continues to evolve and become better and learn in the context of what you gentlemen just presented, use of any of these technologies is going to continue to grow. I think it's how we drive policy change to protect that. That does two things. Number one, entices foreigners and foreign organizations to continue to work with organizations in the Philippines, manage data in whatever capacity. And number two, it also provides agility. Right? So I say infrastructure is not so relevant. What's probably more important is how it's governed, which gives the business output that people are driving towards. And of course, in the context of cybersecurity, many partnerships and many alliances that we contribute to it, which is a combination of all the experts that can deliver in either capacity.
John, from your perspective, you are doing the work at Beacon. What are the biggest challenges that you have faced working with, Philippine government and Philippine side.
Well, maybe just to jump back to a couple of the questions as well. I mean, certainly when it comes to digital infrastructure and cybersecurity, I think a key element to point out is the principle of designing with security from the beginning. It should no longer be viewed as an add-on after a service is rolled out or infrastructure. Security, in whatever form, information security, network security, whatever, is built in the process and is architected from the beginning. And then maybe just to jump back about the social media question, because it's the relevant one for this context. I mean, I think one of the things that, maybe we tend to fall into a little bit is when we talk in a policy environment or a technical environment, we use terms, right? Security by design even, or whatever. But when we're trying to address the issue of cyber hygiene of the general population, this is where actually having bite-sized, minimized messaging is really important, and that's certainly where social media comes into place so that people understand. It's instead of saying multi-factor authentication, we actually say, we need to make sure that there's sort of plus security as well. But that's really the role I think of social media.
How about you, Hans? Do you have any insights in terms of the key barriers in terms of really creating these defenses among government institutions to protect?
Right. Key challenge right now, I believe, is we still have to educate more and more of our management, our managers, right? Key executive decision makers, not only the private sector but also the government sector. I think for them to appreciate, number one, the value of digital, and number two, what the risks are to that value.
I agree. I really believe in order for us to bring innovation in whatever aspect, be it cybersecurity, digitalization, or e-governance, we really have to educate from top level until the grassroots. So very good point. Sam, what do you think we can do so we can effectively collaborate as sectors to push forward our mandate for cybersecurity?
Thank you for that question. Countries define their critical infrastructure. Once you define it, you identify it. It's very basic. Healthcare, finance, for example, power, utilities, any industry that can bring you public announcement. But when you pronounce it, the question is, what's next? If an industry is critical, I believe there has to be a law, regulation. It's government that drives that. But the government can take three roles. It can be a dictator, say, hey, follow me like, or it can be lax. It won't push follow through with the IRR or building rules, or it can be collaborative. I believe for cybersecurity, once we've identified the critical sectors, which we did already, it has to be collaboration between government, private sector, vendors, innovators, and communities of practice like ours. That's how it should be. It has to be limited. It cannot be a dictator or lax regulator.
Do you think there's a need for like a sandbox approach to start this, to establish frameworks and guidelines for it?
Precisely, this recent hacks announced us in government won't be that list. There'll be more. But if you notice, the individual data composed of the Philippines is almost complete. From the Comelec hack of 2016, right? That's the basic information. And now you have the healthcare hacks, and then you have barangay hacks. Actually, you just need financial data, and we can go back up. Here to the, I think this develop a quantum solution, and then this brute force the passwords of the Filipinos. So it's scary, but the solution there is that should go hand in hand to fight against these, internal, even external threats to our, cyber identities. So it has to be. That's why the team is very good. Sama-sama sa cybersecurity. If we don't back as one, then we're going to lose. Back again.
Love that statement. So, I know everyone are very busy and we want to close this panel by you guys sharing us what would be the key elements for us to move forward as a nation, as Philippines transform digital through its government services and records. And what do you think everyone should be thinking about in terms of really enforcing this in a safe and secure manner? How do we digitalize the Philippines in a very secure and safe manner?
I believe in the same way that many industries have their representative bodies at both public and private levels. We need one for cybersecurity, with both members that are from the private sector and from the public sector working together. The output of that kind of industry body, or let's say governing body, will help to deliver the programs of education in tertiary or K-12, doesn't matter. But the enabling setting is very important over time, that it needs to be led first and foremost by not just the government itself, but with people who are from cybersecurity backgrounds that have the expertise to operate and bring, best practices overseas here in the Philippines. Again, the Philippines is very different, but at the same time, the footprint of cybersecurity is necessary. And I think that's the starting block of the foundation to get done.
I guess I would just say in closing that operationalizing the national cybersecurity plan is definitely very important next step. But then also more broadly across all of society, recognizing that when you think about the pillars of cybersecurity and the importance of process and technology, it's really people, where you see both the weakest link, right, because of today or ignorance and social engineering, but also the strongest link. Right? I mean, if we really focus on educating across all of society, public sector, private sector, individuals, at different levels, that's really where we can build that foundation.
So, as those of Travis said, right? John, Sam, is there. So, we need to continue the conversation, I guess, at all levels, from the home to the board, to government, and then we need to build in security, not bolt it on, right? It should be built in, so it should be part of our DNA. Right? So we should be thinking secure, because right now there's still this thinking that the way that we create value these days is through digital, right? So we need to guard that like we do, our physical assets as well.
Okay, I'm not a big fan of commitments in
Design.
Yeah, I did. But, I'm a big fan of acting on it. And when you act on it, there's a goal. Otherwise, it will happen. And timeline, right? That's smart goals. We estimated that we need around 180,000 cybersecurity professionals to safeguard the critical infrastructures of the Philippines. You only take 1,000, let's say, how many goals? 200. And simply, just take 1,200, right? So, there's a long way to go. So the challenge is that, why don't we put a number, 10% of 180,000 is 80,000. Why don't we, in the next 3 years, join hands with the SAP and set that goal? We'll be accountable for it. That's how we should act after signing this commitment to safeguard cybersecurity.
This summer, I hope you heard that.
80,000 cybersecurity professionals in 3 years.
During the festival.
I love it.
Trained, certified. We will rally all of our members, the volunteers,
And if you're in that process,
mentors and stuff. Each of us have our own training and certification program. We give it for free. But let's put a number, 80,000 in 3 years.
No, let's make use of data itself, right? And use the people, not just technologies, but empower the people to really secure the entire Philippines. Well, thank you so much. Any more additional insights you want to share with the audience before we close this call? All good? All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Thank you, guys, and thank you for staying.